What's going on YouTube? 90s Kid here, and today we're going to take a look at, as you can see, this thing is sparking. It's electrified. We're going to take a look at a lightning build for the Blunderbuss, and it's something I was using, I guess, first. I kind of came to this first when it came to the Blunderbuss activities I was pursuing, and once I realized my skills were fire damage, I kind of wanted to focus more on having a heavy hitting combo. Um, but this build, after revisiting it, I think is just as good. I don't think it's better in terms of DPS, but there's way more utility than running like a fire staff or like a VG. Having this Mjolnir, being able to stagger and rend and weaken, it's just incredible for the party. Been running M2s the past couple nights. I'll show some clips at the end of this, but been running M2s and it's just been having a blast. We've been clearing them really with ease with any group that I come across. New tanks, new healers. It didn't really matter. We were able to pass pretty much everything we come across, and this is a big reason having all this utility, that extra damage for the party, being able to knock down, give the tank a second to breathe. Again, you have your knockdown with your Blunderbuss, you have your knockdown and stagger with this, weakens. You got your rend on both weapons. Um, and then if you're carrying vines, you got another rend. It's just so much utility with this build that it's hard to question, truthfully. So let's take a look at the gear. Obviously, Mjolnir is what you want to focus on. That's 20% more lightning damage. Um, it revolves specifically around the Mighty Gavel ability, so we're going to take that, obviously. But this Blunderbuss is just enchanted, keenly empowered, and keen. I got a Topaz in there for lightning damage, and I got the augmented electrified rune glass in there. Armor doesn't have to be perfect. These are not best in slot at all. Even my Intune leather pants, which is best in slot, has fire harnessing on it. I didn't want to re-roll them, just made them 725 again. Didn't want to re-roll them for a video, did that before. So again, if you're trying to maximize this build, go lightning harnessing on every piece. Get some aversions, elemental or physical, get some wards, some conditioning, health. You obviously want to focus on also refreshing if you can. Refreshing is obviously still going to be really good for this build. As you can see, my ring has lightning damage. When it comes to an amulet, I like having that fortify when my health goes under 50. I love divine, which seems to be bugged right now, unfortunately, and endless thirst just for the extra buff. But that's kind of what I run. Again, it's not best in slot, and I'm still able to do M2s with ease. My resistance is around 8, 8 and 9, so almost 10. So it's, I got about 10% resistance to elemental and physical. It's not huge. Again, I think when it comes to PvE, as long as you're not trying to be like a PvP king, you don't need all that conditioning, all those aversions and wards. It's more about placement in PvP. I think you can primarily focus more on placement and learning enemy attacks than anything else. Obviously, there's times where Archer's going to get you, or a Javelin's going to get you, or just a stomp from a boss is going to get you. You can't. Not a lot to do about that. You'll just get better. So don't worry about just having the perfect build. Obviously, you don't want to just throw rune glass in every old whatever. I just kind of wanted to show you guys specifically what I run. At least with this build, or what I have been, and it definitely works at M2s. So yeah, that's the armor. Let's take a look at attributes. My armors do have Constitution, so without putting any Constitution in, that's kind of what I'm sitting at. I think it would be a lot better if I had a little bit more intelligence, but I think the main intelligence mark you want to hit is going to be elemental damage, that 10% elemental damage. So we're going to focus on just flowing out strength, get that little crit, get as much intelligence as you can, and whatever constitution you feel comfortable with. Again, this is just where I sit, so that's where I sit. And as you can see, the damage markers are still really good. There's nothing wrong with that. In terms of skills and abilities, my blunderbuss hasn't changed at all. Now I will note that I did use double down for a couple M2s, and it worked just fine. It did seem like my damage was a little staggered, so I went back to unload. But having that extra knockdown, especially with a new group or a healer that I felt like wasn't that didn't have you know like clap or something to where he was able to really focus on healing the group as opposed to just one person. This was able to give us an extra knockdown. So I had a knockdown up every 4 to 6 seconds essentially, and it was nice. It helped us stay alive, and it was a great utility. Let's check out the Warhammer. This is what I run. Again, as long as you have Mighty Gavel, I mean that's really all you want to focus on. I think in terms of utility though, have an armor breaker with the passive lasting trauma, which is going to give you a 30% rend for 10 seconds. That's huge. That's huge, especially on a boss. 10 seconds at 30% more damage. Shockwave is going to stagger and stun enemies for 2 seconds. So again, huge. This is going to help you weaken them, and this is just going to extend the range. Everything else here is just primarily focused on like extra damage, armor, maybe a little fortify or something. Increase armor when surrounded, which you will be almost every time you switch to your Warhammer. So just little things like that. Again, you know, you're critting for 8 to 10k with this Warhammer, with your heavy swings, with your mighty gavel. You're doing really solid damage with your blunderbuss. It's a solid build. I don't think your combo is as heavy hitting as a fire build is, but that 30% rend and that extra stun and stagger, that's hard to argue. Plus, it's just fun to be something a little different. You're always seeing fire staffs and stuff, and I think a lot of times you will see warhammers as well. But that's the beauty of the blunderbuss. I think there's just so many variations of this thing, right? That you can have all these different things to switch to. So you can have a fire staff, or the warhammer, or a VG, or you have all these different things. I'm setting up a blunderbuss and um, a musket build right now, and I'm utilizing traps for those rends. It's going to have a lot of utility to it. It's going to have long range. It's going to have medium range. There's a lot going on in terms of possibilities in this game. It's not even just the blunderbuss. I mean, you can just do so much and utilize so much that it's really fun. You can always be a little different than the next person. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. Again, just focus on that lightning damage. Now there is a thing of your 50% cap. You might hit it, you might not. Warhammer and Blunderbuss, they don't really specialize in a lot of empowerments, so I don't think you have to worry about going over cap. And yeah, so I think this is going to be it. I'm going to run some clips after I get done talking. It's going to be some M2 clips. Nothing fancy, just showing you a little bit of damage in M2, a little bit of utility. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it. So again, the next few videos, I might focus on doing my dot damage build, my sustained build. That way I can kind of let you guys know in terms of, obviously we have great burst damage, but how I can maintain sustained damage. That way when we start breaking down other weapons, we'll have numbers to compare, right? From other really well sustained damage markers like the rapier or the greatsword, or even the fire staff. So yeah, again, this is this is the lightning build. So hopefully this has been a little eye opening and you guys might want to give this a shot, or if you're using it, let me know how you like it in the comments below. And if you guys have any questions, if you have any ideas on what to try, definitely shoot them at me. We'll see you on the next one. It's 90s Kid. Peace.